Hi, I'm Joan Salge Blake, a registered dietitian nutritionist, nutrition professor at Boston University, and this is my golden hour.
Oh God, what's going on? Where am I going? Dad?
Yes, my son. I am Deuce, the deer god.
I'm so confused. Who am I?
Derek. Your true name is Dercules.
Wait, what?
Yes. You are Dercules, the god of the forest. Season 5. Hosted by your favorite podcast host, Big Bochi. You already know the deal, mother. What's up? Your son's name is Adam Dalton Blake.
Yes, it is. How do you know Adam Dalton Blake? Well, you should know him.
Wait, before we move on, hey everybody, this is Conor Holway of the Golden Hours podcast, and listen, we had a big short film shoot last night, but my guest is going to come through with that energy today, and I'm not the most energetic, but we're going to provide some value, and if you by chance get any sort of value from the episode, whether you laugh, you're informed, you learn something cool, just share it with a friend. That's all we ask. Before I introduce my guest, who's the producer in the building today?
Yo, Big Fresh checking in.
And Big Fresh is refreshed, baby.
You know, I slept great last night, so.
Oh, so you did sleep well in the rainstorm.
Yeah, I always do. I love the rain.
Hey, I love when you're here, man.
Thank
and
you.
I love your new sweatshirt. And on my right, we have been so eager to run an episode with a dietitian / nutritionist. And what is the proper term? I want to make sure I don't mess it up.
Registered dietitian nutritionist.
Okay, that's going to be tough for me to remember.
Hey.
Registered dietitian nutritionist. This young woman on my right knows food. And
I
she
know.
knows health and how to get hot and feel good. And so on my right, I have Joan Salge Blake. Salge,
Salge, fine. Yep.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, I'm excited. I blew here
Oh.
from Boston University.
Do you want to give a quick synopsis of who you are and what you do?
Yes, hi. I am a nutrition professor at Boston University, and I teach nutrition. I wrote the textbook for the class, believe it or not. That was a big job. I'm a host of the Health and Nutrition and Wellness podcast called Spot On. So that's on all major platforms. I do a lot of media interviews. I write for the Boston Globe.
She does
freelance.
everything. Okay,
US
just
News.
look her name up. Like it is just pages and pages of different stuff. You're a rep for Chobani.
Well, I used to be on the Chobani Advisory Board. That ended, but I am on the Fitbit Advisory Board.
Two products that I use all
See?
the time.
That's right. That's why you and I get along.
So is that sponsored?
Now, this was a gift from them, yes.
So I have the Inspire. What is that called?
Oh, this is the big kahuna. This gives you horoscope, everything. You know what I mean?
That's like the Iron Man watch.
Right.
And so before we had started, you were saying how many steps you try to do a day?
I try to do about 6 miles. So we're talking 13,000.
13,000?
Yeah, I love that number.
Are you totally anal about making sure your numbers are right?
Yeah,
I'm always checking.
Yeah, I already know, but I want to see a comma and 2 digits in front of that comma. Okay, otherwise I'm not going to bed. I'm walking around the apartment. All right.
Well, you're on ComApp, right?
Yes, I am.
So
That's a
you have no excuse.
No, because Boston University is 1.5 miles from Kenmore Square all the way to the end. So just to even get anywhere, you're gonna load up this baby.
I know. My question is, how are you going to maintain it in the winter? Because I newly have this.
Yeah.
I haven't had it in the winter yet.
Right,
Do you go on the treadmill?
Yeah, no, it's called Uggs. And,
Okay.
and a parka and a hat and mittens.
And you're still out there?
Yeah, I'm still out there. You can just come visit. I'll be walking in the snow.
You got a motor.
I got a motor.
So I think I do know who your son is.
How do you know my son?
I believe, I don't know if this is the right person, but did he go to Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School?
Yes, he did.
As did I.
No. I got to call. Can we text him right now?
I don't have his number, but I remember, was he very active in theatrical productions?
Yes, he was.
I remember
He
your
was.
son
Yes.
very well.
I can't believe that I have to go home.
Did you grow up in did you live in Sudbury?
Yes, I did.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, I lived, down Old Lancaster. It was near Our Lady of Fatima, maybe like 2 miles from Lincoln,
No
Sudbury.
way.
That is a riot. Were you in the same grade, or?
I think he was a couple grades older than me. I'm from Lincoln.
Oh, you're from Lincoln. Okay. Oh, the other side, yeah, Lincoln, whatever.
The
Yeah,
country
the
bumpkin
bumpkins.
side.
I love. I think it's gorgeous. Good for you. That is a
But
star.
I'm not from the nice part.
Oh, you're not. Oh.
I'm from off of Route 2.
Oh, for goodness sakes! Was there like not a nice part in Lincoln? Come on.
I like being a victim.
Yeah, Lincoln is a victim.
Oh, that was so tough.
There was no Starbucks. Oh,
Well,
it was painful.
Well, there's no stores.
Right, that's right.
Did you know that
well,
there
they
are
have
two
that
restaurants
little,
in Lincoln?
Yeah, but they're adorable, and they have that little area where the train is. So don't make like there was like low electricity. For goodness gracious sakes.
Hey, Paul Revere. He rode through Lincoln with that lantern. Abu's from Waltham.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is he? Malta is great.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
goodness. The
definitely
rest.
changed
Oh
over the
my
years.
goodness.
Yeah.
Like it would take you what 4 years to eat your way through Waltham. There's so many
Probably, yeah.
fabulous restaurants
Yeah.
there. That's great. That's great.
Maybe a year for all the good restaurants.
Yeah.
So listen, when you leave, say, hey, I was on a great podcast
Yes.
with Conor Holway. He's
Okay.
he's a LS warrior.
Okay. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna call my son.
And so I know we're on a tight time schedule here.
Yep.
So I want to make sure we get some really solid value out of the
Okay.
episode. And I think one thing we can definitely do is our main demographic listening are like 22 to 32 year olds,
Yeah.
right? I want to just simplify, dude, you guys are messing up your eating in this way. What changes people can make
Right.
and what foods we should cut instantly. Before we get into that, can you just kind of describe your nutritionist background and
Right.
like when you started totally being obsessed with food?
Right. Okay, this is what happened. I have a doctorate in education. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. I have a master's degree in nutrition. But really, what makes me credible is that I'm Italian. So you
eat a lot.
Yeah, and we eat good food, and we talk a lot, and we use our hands, but we are passionate about food.
pumped.
I'm pumped, and we use great food to put in our body, and that really, when you mesh the Italian, the food, and, healthy foods, with the science of nutrition, it's like a marriage made in heaven. So really, it's the passion that comes from being an Italian, the passion for nutrition. And really, I like to do exactly what you just said. Take the science, it's mumbo jumbo, complicated, and drill it down to understandable terms where you can implement into your life to improve your life one bite at a time.
So isn't the classic Italian diet very carb heavy?
Well, let's look at the Mediterranean diet. You're right. A lot of fruits and vegetables and grains, pasta, a lot of fish, good olive oil, a little bit of it, going on there. But it's fresh. It's like wonderful. In fact, last year I spent a month in Italy teaching a course for Boston University, or helping a professor teach a course. Next year I'm going to be doing it, just to immerse yourself into it. But the Mediterranean diet and the whole lifestyle and walking, it's just absolutely fabulous and science-based. And we know that type of a lifestyle will increase longevity, help you fight the major causes of death among Americans: heart disease, certain cancers, stroke, type 2 diabetes. So 4 of the top 7 causes of death you can fight with a fork and a knife.
What are 4 of the top 7? Heart disease.
Heart disease, certain cancers, stroke, and type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, so that's newly becoming like
Out of
part
control?
part of the public conscious, right?
Right.
That you can totally change a lot of these diseases and its effect on your life based on your diet, right?
And like you said, the audience, my bro audience here that you have here from 22 to 35, now is the time to do it. Your mother should do it too, your grandfather should do it, but now is the time to do it because you want to set that habits now and fight those diseases early on. So this is like the perfect time.
Well, how do we know what diets are accurate?
Right.
Because, people have only really been studying diet as a science for 100 years, maybe.
Oh, well, it goes back about that. Look at Hippocrates said, food is thy medicine. So it goes way back from that. But I think what we know now is we understand that food is part of the medical treatment, or more importantly, the prevention. So when you look at the diets, like the Mediterranean diet, again, very high in the fruits and the vegetables and the grains and the fish and the healthy oils. My plate, a healthy vegetarian type diet. All of these have the same common denominator. A lot of plant-forward foods that are great for you. And carbs is not the villain on the plate. Carbs are your fruits and your vegetables, the whole grain. They are not
Refined
the villain.
carbs, though.
Well, refined. Well, let me explain refined. No, let me tell you about refined carbs. Okay,
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. So, refined carbs would be pasta. Okay, hello, Italian pasta, enriched flour, great nutrients. So it's not refined. It's more of sweets and treats that are the problem. And if you look at the Mediterranean type diet, where are sweets and treats? On the top, just a little bit amount. But for
cannoli.
but the cannoli comes on holidays. Look at you sitting back and telling me about cannolis. So that only comes on special occasions. Unfortunately, what Americans have done is made the cannoli and the sweetened beverages an everyday event, and it was never an everyday event. So it's not that sugars are bad. It's the frequency. I'm going to tell you a story growing up. Okay, so my mother worked outside the home, and she would go food shopping on Thursdays when she got paid. And she would go food shopping, Italian mother, and she would buy for the week, and then she would get a pint of Breyer's ice cream, which at the time was like the creme.
Breyer's is great.
Breyer's is great.
It's
Oh,
awesome.
Breyer's, excellent, fabulous.
Like cookie dough.
Oh, stop. Sir. So then she would get a big thing of Hershey chocolate, like a big chocolate bar.
Oh, your mom was going in.
Yeah, okay. No, wait. I'm in therapy over this. She wouldn't get Nabisco Oreos. She would get like the A&P knockoffs, which I'm in therapy over. I can't understand why I never got the real thing. It was really upsetting. But anyway.
Shame on your mom.
That's a whole nother issue. But what would happen, like any normal household, it was every man for himself. So if I didn't eat it, my siblings were going to eat it. So it was every man for himself. So basically, by Saturday morning, the knockoff Oreos were gone, the Breyers was gone, and the Hershey bar was gone. But what the issue was, my mother didn't go food shopping again until next Thursday. So that was it. Now, what's happened, and it keeps happening now, is on Saturday morning when those sweets and treats are gone, you go and buy more. And that is what the problem is. So it's not just the ice cream, it's not the sweetened treats, it's the frequency of them. So you roll back to that's what the change is. When did sweetened beverages and chocolate and ice cream become an everyday event? And that's what the issue is. So we have to get back to, I will call it like retro eating, going back to the way your grandmother raised you, go back to more fruits and vegetables on the plate, go back to, lean meats, some healthy oils, and let's put these sweets and treats where they belong, just a little bit, every so often, not every day.
Yeah, so I've heard you say a couple times that people should enjoy food.
That's right.
It should be an enjoyable experience.
Right. The number one reason why people choose a food is taste. Hello, taste.
It's a dopamine hit.
Yeah, not a dopamine. It just tastes good. Basil
That's what I'm
tastes
saying.
good. Tomatoes, yum, tastes good. That's all great.
But at what point? Well, you're familiar with the paleo diet, I'm sure, right?
Right.
Is it an effective diet?
Right.
And can you elaborate on what it is,
Right.
please?
So paleo diet is the hunter and gatherers, and it's very it depends upon where you grew up.
It's what I do, just for reference.
Right. And you look a little pale to me, but that's anyway. So it is mostly hunter and gatherer, and it's a lot of meat and less, vegetables. And we have science that says the inverse is what's good for you. Let's go back to the Mediterranean diet. So the paleo diet where it was just all meat is not going to be
all meat and plants and animals.
Plants and animals, but a big hunk of meat on the plate and some vegetables.
Paleo is in like these are what the cavemen were eating.
Right.
that's how the human race progressed.
Right. Keep in mind that their life expectancy was 36. So I plan to live way beyond age 36.
How old?
I'm going to at least about 100.
You're going to 130.
Yeah,
The way you're rocking.
Yeah, the way, absolutely. And then I have my son in New York. So everything's fine. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So, but that, we don't have any long-term research on that because, this is new. But we have long-term research on the Mediterranean-type diet, plant-based as such. So where is the science and the research on this? And we know that the fruits and vegetables, Mother Nature's finest, are full not of only of fiber, but they're full of water and they taste good. So anything that's high in fiber and water, like fruits and vegetables, they fill you up before they fill you out. We have over 70% of Americans overweight, which increases your risk.
70%?
Over 70%. I call that job security for me. But over 70%, yes. And so what is going on here? And we need to get more fruits and vegetables on our plate to crowd out that big hunk of fatty meats. I love meat. I love all foods, but it should be lean meats and should be a smaller portion. And let's get fish in twice a week because we know that increases longevity.
What is a healthy weight if there are 70% of Americans overweight?
Right, 70%.
So I'm 6'3".
Right.
What would a healthy weight be for me based on your calculations?
Really, off the top of my head, I don't know anybody 6'3". I stop at 6'1". But as my son is, you can go on and Google BMI, body mass index, and put in your height and your weight. And you're a thin person here, so you're not. I wouldn't put you in that. I wouldn't worry so much.
I'm not thin. I'm hot. I'm hot.
Well, thin. All right. So whatever. So I wouldn't worry. But a lot of people aren't, and a lot of it is based on the fact that their diets are not healthy. They're not healthy for the long term, and they're inactive. Bad combo.
Sedentary.
Yeah. It's, issues.
Is that number rising based on your research?
It's only been going up. It has not gone down. It used to be 59%, used to be 69%. Now it's over 70%. It's going up.
How much of that do you think has to do with modern technology and things being created for convenience for humans?
Absolutely, major part of it. Even the fact that, if you work in an office and not long ago, maybe a decade ago, you would have to print something out. You would have to go and walk to the one printer that was on the floor, right? Because the printers were so expensive. So it was these big mega printers. And so you'd have to get up from your desk and walk and pick it up. Get up from your desk every time you print out something. Now the printer is right in your office. So you don't even get up to move. I mean, look what texting is doing. Look what I think a big issue is, and you can have me back next year, is Uber and Lyft. You don't even walk anywhere. You're in a major city. You take an Uber or a Lyft to get from one end of the campus to the other. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but you see what I'm saying? So all of this is causing you to be very, very sedentary. You put on top of that an unhealthy diet that is higher in calories than you need, and you got a formula that says why over 70% of Americans are overweight.
See, I was under the impression that people are more conscious about their health now than ever, though.
They are. They're talking about it. They're talking about it.
They're not doing anything about it, though?
Right. Well, you're following influencers on social media that are not credible. They're not registered dietitian, nutritionists, do not understand the science, just doing wacko stuff. A lot of celebrities are doing that. And people are always looking for the next thing to quickly help them with their weight. It took them years to get to the point where they are on the bathroom scale, and they want it off tomorrow. So they're very, very full prey to this quick fixes, which we know doesn't fix anything quickly. And so you really have to step back and look at what you're eating, what your lifestyle is, and go back to eating a healthy diet that is good for your lifestyle and good for your health. And that is one that is very much plant forward in a lot of fruits and vegetables. And when the grains come, to be more whole grain, although refined, in the case of the pasta, is just fine. And some protein, but don't eat a half a cow. You can get lean protein and, of course, skinless poultry. And, of course, I love fish and beans.
Well, Because there's so much research out there, how do you vet your research and what do you choose? Is
Right.
like, okay, this is right, this is wrong,
Right.
this is a good source, this isn't.
Right.
And how should people
right.
do the same?
That's great. That is a great. First of all, one study is no study. So whenever something comes out in the headlines and says, this study just said blank, one study is no study. It's only when there is a consensus, a lot of studies saying the same thing over and over again. Do you have a consensus? Then we have something. And that's when typically organizations, excuse me, such as the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the American Heart Association, says the consensus says that based on the research, diets such as the Mediterranean diet are very good and they have been shown to help, increase longevity. That's when you can hang your hat on it. One study is no study. And so you really keep that in mind and keep in mind where is it coming from, who is saying it.
So who do you use?
So I am, I read the science. I read the science. So I can read an article and say, yeah, this is legitimate. I read the journals from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the circulation of the American Heart Association, New England Journal of Medicine. I'm on top of all of these all the time. And so to understand what's coming around. But it doesn't change a lot. We're still on the same message of this plant-forward type of a diet. Nobody is saying because of one diet that comes out and says, eat this and you're going to live forever, which is silly because there's no such thing as a superfood. It's called a super diet, not a superfood. And that just makes the thing sexy. But, I don't care what kind of exotic berry you're going to put on your cereal in the morning. It's not
Like
going to save
kimchi.
you.
You putting kimchi on your
Yeah,
stuff?
I mean, something, you don't have to go that far. You don't have to go, and make this a challenge. Just go back to the produce aisle and the frozen food aisle where the produce is too, because that's affordable and ready to roll.
So how do they deem a lot of these studies as valid if they're about longevity and they're lifelong?
Right. So it takes years of accumulating this prospective studies. We're looking at, following people in the future. We go retrospective. We follow
Animal testing?
Well, typically you start with animals, to do, rats is what you always start with. Then you go to clinical trials with people, and that's the best one to do. But the good news is that nutrition is, we know that it's such a major player when it comes to your health that now more and more funding is going into nutrition research where it should be. I can help you when you get a heart attack, but couldn't I do better if I help you prevent getting a heart attack? Or
Why are you pointing at me like I'm going to have a heart attack?
Because,
Don't do this to
because
me.
you look very pale. I'm just trying to. You need more than 4 hours sleep. This is not looking well on you. Okay, I'm just telling you. Okay.
I feel good.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a paleo diet.
Yes.
And you don't like the paleo.
I do not like paleo. I want more fruits and vegetables and better grains. Some meat, but I don't need to have the whole plate covered with protein source. No.
And so an average macro split, what do you like in terms of carbs, fats, and proteins?
Right. So really, we want to talk about 45 to 65% of your diet would be carbohydrates, and that's fruits, vegetables, grain. Milk actually goes in there because it has a good source of carbohydrates.
Some people don't like dairy. Why is that?
That's a personal issue. I have nothing problem with dairy. I love my yogurt. I love my milk. I love my lattes. So, which is a great way to get milk into you. If you don't like milk per se to drink it, have a latte because that's a boatload of lean dairy in there. About 20 to 35% fat, and the good fats, the nuts, the olive oil, the canola oil, and then
a little guacamole in there.
Yeah, I love guacamole. Yes, and then with salsa and carrots.
You like Chipotle?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you like Chipotle?
I like Chipotle. Oh, yes, I do like Chipotle. I like everything. I'm Italian. Did we not start this? It's Italian.
You're right.
All right. Okay. And then the rest of it is protein. So, that's the macro way to do it. But people don't eat percentages. Just if you want to do it.
What does a plate look like?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go. Reading mine. That's fabulous. I was just going to say, you can Google choosemyplate.gov. And what that will do is you'll bring up the icon My Plate. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. And it's really cool icon because it's a visual reminder of what your plate should look like. And so if you pull this up, half of the plate is fruits and vegetables, about a quarter are grains, and a quarter is the protein, and then you have that glass of milk on the side. So those are the 5 food groups, and that gives you variety, proportionality, and it's a great visual to remind you that's what your plate should look like. That's a plant-forward eating pattern. That's what it should look like.
So what is your diet?
My diet is...
I know you're mixing in a lot, but like today, what are you going to eat?
Right. So like in the morning, I will have like my yogurt, and I'll have cereal on top of my
Your
yogurt.
Chobani.
My Chobani. Yeah, all right. I do like that. And I'll have coffee. I need my coffee with my milk in it, my frothy milk.
Regular black coffee?
No, I got to put my frothy milk in. I have a frother.
Okay.
And then some fruit, fresh fruit and everything. Then I'll go on to the day. Now, what I do, and we're going to get into this because you want to ask me about fasting. I have my big meal at lunch, and I do a lighter meal in the day.
Yeah, see, this was very interesting to me on the phone that you said, hey, I don't eat after 7 p.m.
Right.
And so I definitely wanted to, I know we're bouncing around a little bit, but I definitely wanted to talk about the benefits to not eating heavier in the nighttime.
Right. This is absolutely fascinating research. And I am going to tell you that when I was in graduate school in 1980, I'm not going to get the sign, okay?
What are you, 26?
Yeah, 7. I don't lie about my age. My master thesis was the effect of the time of day that food is consumed in its relationship to weight loss. Okay, that was 100 years ago. And what are we finding out now? We're finding out that timing, when you eat, may have a tremendous impact on how your body metabolizes the food and therefore affects your weight. And the old adage to eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper, so smaller, is coming through now. It is absolutely
Can you go over that
famous.
again?
Yeah. So you're going to eat breakfast like a king, big meal. Okay.
Like Big Fresh.
Right. Yeah. So then you're going to have lunch like a prince, okay, and dinner like a pauper. So you're an upside down triangle. As the day goes on, your calories decrease. Most Americans are this way. They increase. And after a while, you start to look like a triangle. And that's why 70% of Americans are overweight or more.
So you don't like the warrior diet?
No, I am more during the day. I'm feeding my brain, I'm feeding my body, right? And then I'm less at night, stop eating, and then I fast through the night.
16 hours?
Not 16, maybe 12, because, the time you get up and get going again. And that has worked famous for me and gives me energy, and I sleep better, and it's a better way to manage my weight. And I think that you're going to find more and more research, this is emerging research to come out, that the time of day that you eat is going to have a major impact on weight management.
So you don't technically fast. You're more of like a time restrictive.
Right. That's exactly what I time restrict. And that's what I find to be good for my brain and my body, better for manage my weight. It's just a healthier way to do it. It really is.
And so obviously there are so many options out there.
Mm-hmm.
How much of this is just totally based on preference and what makes you feel good?
Of course. I mean, your diet must make you happy. Remember we said the number one reason people choose food is taste. So it has to taste good. And then what you like, what you absolutely like, and what you grew up with. I'm Italian, so we grew up with a lot of soups and vegetables and things, Mr. Fresh, what did you grow up with?
Well, so my family's Mongolian, and the Mongolian diet is something that I've kind of like been interested in over time, because since Mongolia is a landlocked country, throughout history, the variety of the foods in the diet is not there's not a lot of variety. So it's a lot of like meats, flour, like grains.
What meat? Like beef?
Like a lot of beef, maybe some lamb here and there, and the basic vegetables like carrots and potatoes.
Yeah, right.
So,
but you had vegetables.
Yeah,
yes.
But I feel like those aren't the best vegetables in terms of nutrition.
What are the best
You know
vegetables?
something? Don't pick on Mother Nature. Mother Nature has never steered you wrong. And there's nothing wrong with potatoes. They're a fabulous source of fiber and potassium. They're inexpensive. And carrots, hello, carrots. So it's absolutely fine. So all vegetables are terrific. So I don't, this is like saying, what's the best vegetable? This is like saying, well, which one of your sons do you really love the most? I mean, you know what I mean? Equally, I love them both.
Oh, you have two.
I have two. And I have a daughter-in-law who I love.
But the son's more than the daughter-in-law.
No, not in this case.
All three.
All three were equal. There's enough love to go around.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, all of Mother Nature's vegetables and fruit are really good. So don't, it's not like one is better. I mean, I'll go back to what I said. There's no super food. It's a super diet. That's the key. And that's going to be the key to keep you healthy.
So you don't believe in longer fasts in boosting your cognition? Because I reach a point in the day normally, probably when I'm about hour 16 to hour 20 in my fast, where I feel very focused and very productive. You think that's counterproductive?
I don't appreciate that for multiple reasons. Your brain loves fuel, and your brain operates on glucose. So to me, I'm always giving enough during the day when I need to feed my brain food, healthy foods going in. That sounds perfect, right? This is like a Ferrari, and you're putting gas in the Ferrari, right?
Premium fuel.
Yeah, right. You got it.
Not unleaded.
No, we're talking right. Okay, so I am putting in fabulous fuel during the day to feed my brain and my body, and then not at night when I don't need it, right?
But I feel somewhat sluggish if I eat early.
Well,
why is that?
Well, it all depends upon what you're eating, what makes you sluggish. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. 4 hours sleep.
Listen, it's not like that every night. We're shooting a short film last night.
Okay. I'm calling Mr. Fresh. I'm calling you tomorrow. I want to see how many hours sleep he got. 4 hours sleep is not good. The body needs to rest. Okay?
How many did you get last night?
Okay. I always get 8.5.
Oh, you got that beauty sleep.
I know. Look at me. I'm
You're
27.
glowing.
I'm 27. So I like that fuel. I like that fuel going in the tank when I need it, and not going in when I don't need it, when I'm sleeping. And that
But what if
works
food's
great.
a distraction?
Why? Well, why would it be a distraction? What do you work in a bakery? Or why would you be?
Well, it's like, you got to prepare your salad. You got to cut up your chicken. You got to cut up your guacamole. You might even have to put a fried egg on that thing. Then you got to put the balsamic dressing on it.
Right. Take 20 minutes off Instagram and focus on getting foods prepped. You know what I mean? Now you have, with all the technology that we talked about in the beginning of this episode, you should have all this extra time on your hands. But no, you're just on Instagram and social media.
You don't know me.
I know you. I follow you. So I know that you're just where you are devoting your time. So if this was a priority, you would do it and get off social media and do it. And I'll tell you,
You
you're
actually
gonna feel
don't know.
good.
I prep every single one of my meals.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Then why are you making don't do that?
I'm playing a little devil's advocate.
Gosh almighty. So what do you eat? What kind of meals do you have?
So today I'll have a arugula salad with 4 chicken breasts. With light olive oil
Yes.
and light balsamic vinaigrette,
right.
with a handful of walnuts, an avocado, 2 fried eggs, and a tomato.
Okay. Now, that's your one meal, is that it?
I have that twice a day.
Twice a day. Okay. That's a heck of a lot of protein that you don't need. I mean, those poor little chickens. You don't need all of that protein. And I would say do more of the vegetables and fruit. And why don't we spread it out? What time of the day are you eating this?
Today I'll probably, I had my last meal yesterday at 6:30 p.m. Today I'll probably eat at 2:30 p.m., so it'll be a 20-hour fast. And then I'll probably close my meal window around 7:30 tonight.
Right. Your choice to do that. The foods that you're picking are on the healthier range of things. I think the proportionality when I talked about my plate isn't there. That
So
chicken,
more
that
veggies.
chicken is muscling out all those vegetables. You don't need that much protein. Everything else on there is looking good.
What if you're trying to gain muscle, though? Are there negative health consequences to a more vegetarian, vegan-based diet?
Doesn't have to, as long as it's adequate in protein. What we need to do is, for muscle synthesis, we need weight resistance, exercises like lifting weights or whatever. You need to have protein actually throughout the day because that helps synthesize it rather than bulking it all late at
Directly
night.
after the workout, there's also benefit to that too.
Right. But guess what's fueling your workout, my dear, is the carbohydrates. That's what's giving you the energy to either run on the treadmill or lift the weights. So, the chicken breast alone is not going to help you do that. The chicken breast on a sandwich with the grains and the tomato and the lettuce is going to be a better bet. So we don't need to be, overdoing it in the protein at the expense of the good, healthy carbs that will fuel your workout.
So are most professionals in your industry, do they appreciate the same type of diet that you like, or does it vary a lot? Because I've heard a lot of people who really want to cut down on breads and grains.
Right.
Are you familiar with Chris Kresser?
Very familiar. Give me more.
He's been on Joe Rogan a bunch.
Okay.
But he's totally, fully paleo. He loves
Okay.
paleo.
Yeah.
So you hate his guts.
Yeah. No, I don't hate his guts. I didn't even know who he was. But he doesn't travel in my world. I travel in the world where it's all science-based and with health professionals that have been schooled and we understand the science. So I know that Mediterranean diet is healthy. It's based on science. I know that my plate is a healthy way.
You look glowing. You look great.
My diet. So, that's who I travel with. And I'm skeptical of people like that do not have a science background and project this out there, and then you are following it and it's not based on science. I'm telling you what's based on science. I am going to live to 100 and maybe 130 because I'm following the diet that's based on science. And I feel good about it, and it's working. And I know at the same time that I'm fighting heart disease and I'm, reducing my risk of diabetes and certain cancers and strokes. So I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna outlive you.
Let's live together.
Oh,
Why don't we do that?
I'm sorry, we're
Can we live
married.
all together?
I'm married. You're not living with me. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Real quick.
Yes.
I want to just produce a couple clips right now for content and
Okay.
value. So 3 foods right now that you see everybody eating that they need to cut out. Go.
Okay, great. This will be easy. You don't have to cut any foods out of your diet. You have to cut back on foods that are less healthy. So less sweets and treats, less fattier cuts of meat. Okay, make them leaner and less of it. So you don't really need to cut out. Remember, go back to the story of growing up with my mother. We always had ice cream. We always had chocolate. We always had knockoff Oreos. But it was controlled. That was it for the week. If you ate it all in 48 hours, that was your problem. But you didn't get any more. So if you space that out over the week, you're fine. So you don't need to, but you need to change the proportionality on your plate and the frequency of doing those kinds of foods.
3 superfoods that go into a super diet.
Okay, did we not say there's no super
I just said that go into a super diet.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you fruits and vegetables.
Specifics.
Okay, I'm not telling you which child I like the most. I just told you I love them all. So I am not going to do that. I am not going down that aisle because all of them are really, really good. Just eat them and eat them in the proportionality that you need.
Big Fresh.
I have a little bit of like a conceptual question. So earlier you mentioned that troubling statistic that over 70% of Americans are overweight.
Yes.
If in the future, let's say, whoever wins the 2020 presidential election comes to you and says, hey, we have this new program, you'll have unlimited funding, just change the American diet and make everyone like healthier. Mm-hmm. What would be your first kind of steps and like things to change?
Right.
Killer question.
Well, great question, because we did that in the Obama administration with school lunch. And we saw that the kids' diets improved when they got more fruits and vegetables, and it helped better stabilize their weight. So we know that. So, and let's remember, I'm all for breakfast in school. So, you got parents that are too busy, right? You got too busy, and so get on the bus. Let's get the children in. Let's give them a healthy breakfast and a healthy lunch. So we really nourish them. Then, mom and dad, you go to work. And guess what, Mr. and Mrs. Employer? You give them a healthy breakfast and you give healthy, affordable foods in the cafeteria at lunch. So if we can all feed, right, our adults, we're very busy. He says that he doesn't want to prep, even though he does. So if we can get corporations, if we can get schools to help feed people, make it easy and affordable to eat healthier, then all we have to worry about is dinner. Would you vote for me?
Are you running?
Maybe.
I think you could do it. You got the motor to do it. Go door to door. Say, vote for me. Okay. So 3 popular diets, right?
Okay.
There's the paleo.
Yeah.
There's the vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the keto.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your rank of all 3 in terms of overall health, in promoting overall health.
Okay.
Go.
Right. All right. Vegan, if planned well, and you should always meet your registered dietitian, nutritionist to make sure that you're getting nutrients that you need, because there are certain nutrients like vitamin D and vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 only comes naturally from animal food, so you have to get it from a fortified foods or supplement. So a well-planned vegan could be fab. All right, so that's great, and we know we have good science to suggest that. And the paleo keto, the keto is a cuckoo-ness. I mean, the keto, I shouldn't say it is not cuckoo-ness. The keto diet was done for children who have epilepsy, and this is a very, very hard diet to follow. If you really truly are keto, it is challenging, and those children that have this and they see an improvement in reduced number of seizures, work with a registered dietitian to make sure that they stay in ketosis but also are growing. It is very challenging. What we have now is keto cuckoo-ness, all right, with a cuckoo with a K. So I saw keto chocolate cake mix. Now how could you have a keto? I don't want to talk about this. It's so silly. So let's go on to paleo. Okay, so paleo, we already talked about that. Paleo people,
You'll do it, but it's not. You don't want to do it.
No, it's I again, with the proportionality, I want more fruits and vegetables, and what I talked about. I don't want 4 chicken breasts on a salad. Okay.
Well, mind you, my body requires more protein than yours.
Oh gosh.
Okay, I got you. We'll keep it concise. All right, I want to ask you like 3 more questions.
Better quickie.
We'll do it quick.
All right.
Carnivore diet.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
Okay. So again, we're talking that.
Would you do it?
No, I'm Italian. We did the fruits and vegetables. Did we not go through this? No.
Real quick to elaborate, the carnivore diet is an exclusively all meat diet. So all you do is eat meat, mostly red meat, no
Right.
veggies.
Okay.
There are some benefits to it, correct?
No, because there aren't benefits to that, because you're not going to meet all your vitamin, nutrient needs and your fiber needs if you only have one food group. There are 5 food groups. If one muscles out the others, you're going to fall short on nutrients. So next one, go.
Next, 3 foods to boost cognition.
What cognition needs is...
Like right now, I'm tired.
Yeah,
What
you're
foods
tired.
could I
Well,
eat to like focus up?
You should have got more sleep, and that's key. I'm not kidding you, because people say, I'm really tired. What can I eat to get feel more sharp? No, you needed the sleep. That's number 1, okay? Number 2 is your brain loves glucose, so having a diet or a breakfast or whatever, if you're tired right now, that has those complex carbohydrates, the whole grain fruits, some vegetables, some protein, and a little bit of fat. That's the meal your brain loves and your body loves.
Got it. That was 2 of 3.
I know. You got one more, Bubba.
No, that was 2 of 3 brain boosting foods.
2 or 3 bands of foods. I like this idea of spreading it out throughout the day. I do like that. I also am very much giving equal opportunity to all groups. And I love dairy foods because they're a great source of potassium, vitamin D, if it's milk, and calcium, which are 3 fall short nutrients. So I like everybody in the same sandbox or my plate working together.
Got it. Okay. Joan's on the run. But listen.
What?
I think we should do another episode sometime
I
soon.
think we should.
And I'm gonna.
I want you to. I'm not coming if you're only on 4 hours.
I know. I agree.
Right? This is it. I want 8.5 for him, or I'm not coming.
7.
Mr. Fretch, you and I can do it. He can do nothing. We don't really need him, do we? No. Okay.
I had a blast, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So listen, this is how we start and end the episode.
Okay.
Big Fresh.
Yep.
You want to tell her how to start and end the episode?
Sure.
Okay.
So first you say, hi, my name is, your name, and you say, this is my golden hour. That's the first part.
Okay.
This is.
my golden hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
But I would
Second
say,
part.
hi, like your name, Joan.
Okay. Okay. You want me to do that right now?
No.
Before I
And then
forget?
second part, hi, this is my name. my name is. And that was my golden hour.
Okay.
So 2 different
Here we
books.
go. Can I do it?
Yeah.
One take.
Yeah.
Ready?
Me and the Rockstar Nutritionist. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Joan Salge Blake, a registered dietitian, nutritionist, nutrition professor at Boston University, and this is my golden hour.
Nice. And then
Hi, I'm Joan Salge Blake, registered dietitian, nutritionist, nutrition professor at Boston University, and that was my golden hour.
that diet must be a super diet because you're one of few people to ever execute on that fully. Let's go.